Okay, hey y'all. So I have my book here from my first book review, and if you can hear any music in the background, I apologize. For the summary, the book starts off telling about a little girl named Wiki, whom we know to be as Amelia Martin. She works as a teacher's assistant and a lighthouse keeper. Um, Her parents don't really get along well, and that's one of the things that we see take place throughout the first part of the book. There's many times when they argue, and Winnie, she just says that in basically in a perfect world, both of her parents would get along. So yeah, they're kind of battling, I guess, going through some things in their marriage. And we also found out about Wiki's grandmother, whom she goes and cleans her house every week, and her uncle Edward, who she's extremely close to. In the first part of the book, her friend, what's his name? I forgot his name. What was his? Her friend. What's her friend name? He passes away. Two little girls and her friend, they were skating on ice that wasn't quite thick enough to hold their weight. So her friend, I'm trying to find his name. I can't remember his name. William. Yeah. So her friend William, he dies. He drowned. All three of them, they drown, and so that's kind of heavy on her mind. And what we do notice about Wiki is that she's a very hard worker. She not only works two jobs, but she takes care of her grandmother and her mother. And she also, although she's going through some things emotionally with her parents and with her friend who has just died, she still refuses to skip work. She actually loves going to work. So, and another major thing that happened in this story is Wiki's mother almost burns the house down. She was trying to hang some stockings, and I guess they got caught in the fire. And so when Wiki said that if she had waited 5 more minutes, then the house would have burnt down. And I'm still kind of confused on if this story, if they're living in the lighthouse or on a ship or like a boat, or if they're living like somewhere extremely close to the lighthouse, because I'm confused about that part. So for clarification, some of the words I chose were revelries. It's on page 19. The sentence is, I asked if grandmother knew the cause of the man's midday revelries. It's Revelries. I've never heard of that before. I guess it's kind of similar to like an adventure or mischief or something. And then on page 26, she had begun making a list for each day, and the list gets longer and longer with every visit. It's confounding. So I take that as to be like it's tiring, something like that. And then the last word I chose was bereft. It's bereft. As the boys fell through the ice at Churchman's Pond, I am bereft to lose those little boys. Bereft. I'm guessing that means sadness, but I've never heard of that word, so it's kind of interesting. And the last thing that I would want to point out for clarification is on page 37, and Wiki goes into details kind of why her mother is having joint pains, and it says her moods rise and falls with the pain in her joints, with the battles with father. So I don't know if that means like they, used to fight physically or not, but that was interesting to me. Two of my questions: why do Wiki enjoy her lighthouse job so much, or why do she enjoy working specifically in the lighthouse? I know she said that she never wants to leave the job, and that you know, she loves it so much. And my other question is, can you compare and contrast Wiki's relationship with her father versus her relationship with her uncle Edward? Throughout the novel, we see the difference in the relationships she has. To me, I think that she seems more close to her uncle Edward than her father, and I wonder why. So yeah, those are some of my those are some of my questions. Personal response. I like the book so far. If I had to, it's okay. It kind of reminds me of like a older version of the Diary of Anne Frank. That's kind of what I picture when I'm reading this book. It's not a book that I would just, you know, recommend to anyone to read, honestly. I wouldn't pick up this book to read, you know, if I had to choose a book. I would give it about a 6 out of 10, I would say. But yeah, I'm interested to see, you know, hopefully the story gets better, you know, as I read. I'm interested to see what happens. Prediction is that her mother's going to leave them, and, you know, Wiki, so she's going to stay there, but, you know, she may lose one of her jobs. But yeah, that's all I have for my first Lit Circle discussion.